Hey everybody, it's Matt Demers here on day 4 of the summit. We're sitting here with No Tail himself from Cloud9. We're going to talk a bit about his tournament and just a couple other things, including casting. Something that I really enjoy about the summit anyway is we do get players like you on the casting couch. I was wondering, do you kind of like put yourself in like any kind of like mood to cast or something? You seem to be like one of the players that people like hearing from most.
I don't really put myself in a mood. Like when I watch, especially on the LAN, I watch a game, I get very excited. I've in the past gotten very excited in my own games. I've toned that down a little bit because it can be unhealthy also. But I guess you could say I kind of get into a casting zone. I do it in a way I think it should be done, because nobody likes to hear a game being like talked about without excitement. Like when I look at these games, I feel the energy that people are playing have or put into it. If I were to give it like, you know, my mellow tone and all this stuff, I don't feel like people are really understanding what kind of a game it is. It's a high-paced game.
Do you think that all Dota players have to be able to explain the game like at a certain level, or do you, I guess, otherwise find that like some people are very quiet, don't really talk a lot about it, others do?
I mean, I think if a professional player were to talk little about how he understands the game, it's probably because he doesn't understand it. Like if you were to talk with a teammate or one of your Dota friends and you talk about the game, they should have a lot to talk about. They wouldn't be saying a couple of things or whatever. They'd be spewing out a million ideas or thoughts of what's good, what's bad, what's interesting. So I think a lot of casters, even though they have excitement, they might not have a lot to talk about. So that's what makes them, you know, their ability to talk makes them a good caster. But the ability to understand the game is what can make somebody a good player.
So that's kind of an interesting thing when we talk about like the Venn diagram, the middle of the Venn diagram with someone like Cinder, and I was asking him a couple questions and he'll just keep going. So I guess like something that I asked with coaches with 1437 and 357, I believe, for Vici is just like, do you think that like having former players in those kind of roles is a good thing?
As a coach,
like as an an analyst or a caster or something like that, they kind of bring that unique perspective.
I think only ex-players can actually fit that role properly. If I were to get a coach who didn't understand the game, I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time taking whatever input he could give me close to myself. Like he could definitely, like people could definitely offer something, even though they didn't know something about the game if they were good coaches. But a good Dota coach has to actually understand the game first of all, and then second of all is the team dynamic and all of that stuff. But that also comes from being an ex-player. You have to understand team dynamic and human interaction, at least at a certain level. I think the best coach actually has a very high level on both the game and like team dynamics.
So is it kind of a respect thing as well? Like you can respect someone's opinion a little bit easier if they've kind of been in that competitive mindset themselves? Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, it would be hard for me to take in what somebody who wasn't a player said, because maybe I don't respect him as much, but he has nothing to maybe show for. Like I would question what he was saying. Regardless, I think the best coach would just by nature be an ex-player.
Just something, I guess, kind of segueing away from that. We were talking, like, obviously, you guys are eliminated from the tournament. I was wondering, now that you guys have had a little bit of time to kind of, like, decompress and kind of think about, like, what's happened, have you guys kind of had that talk about, like, what went wrong?
Yeah, we did. It's something that you should do as a good team, have the ability to look forward. We had the talk the same day of what exactly we're doing wrong, what we need to change, because change usually has to happen when you have a really poor result. Something has to change. It happens to all the good teams. They understand, okay, we didn't lose this because people were tired. Nobody's going to use that excuse. Something is wrong. And yeah, we had that talk. We're going to try a different approach now up until TI. In a team, you got to have respect and trust in each other. Like this is something you hear over and over again, but this is so important. Having faith in somebody to do what you need them to do, because then when you have that, everything will come a lot more natural. You can focus on your own thing. You can do your own thing even better because you understand, okay, this is what I want him to do, this is what he needs to do, now he's going to do it. If he doesn't, it's still better to have that belief.
How hard is it to kind of balance being self-critical about like how you specifically played without kind of like getting into either like, you know, a very kind of like emo depressive state or something like that, or not doing it enough and kind of shifting the blame elsewhere?
I think that's something all good players went through at one point in their life. Usually when you start playing any kind of computer game, it's actually a natural thing to be super self-critical, like, and some people actually develop a bad tendency of becoming defensive and then shifting their what starts as self-criticism to, you know, putting blame or directing blame towards something else. That can become a habit for a lot of players. But I think all the good players and the older ones, like right now, have learned how to deal with bad play themselves. Like, for example, me in my elimination match, the third game, the very last game, I had a job to do. I know I didn't do it the way I was supposed to do it. I didn't do the job right, and that's happened many times before. So now I just told right after the game, I knew, okay, I messed up, but I know I can do it. I've done it before. I'll look at it. I'll try and improve. But if I start beating myself up and becoming emo and depressive, that's counterproductive. I have TI in a few months. I have another LAN tournament in 2 weeks. Like, I can't spend the time thinking about this. I have so much other stuff to look at. So it's self-taught, I think, for all the good players.
I guess something that kind of going back towards like the game itself, something that we're seeing a lot is kind of Chen and IO, either very, very banned. You played a couple of them each this tournament anyway. I guess if you just want to give me a little bit of insight of why they might be a bit strong this patch.
For me, IO has always been a ridiculous hero. That comes back from the previous game I played, Heroes of New Earth. I obviously played Dota 1, but I switched game before IO entered. I've had this idea that if you are able to use the map, like the whole map, like it's a chessboard, if you're able to transport one person, wherever person you want, because that was a hero in my other game, to a certain point within a few seconds, what you can do with that, like how crazy that is, for me has always been something like I found imbalanced. IO obviously has like other strengths that actually maybe trump this whole global factor, like his ability to counter gang, his ability to region up, and I saw the S4 interview, the ability to bottle abuse, which is basically region abuse. You're running people over from the very beginning of the game, and I think that's why he's finally getting to see a lot of play. But like I said, I've always believed in this hero. I played this hero for over 2 years now. Chen, it's very funny. If you ask any player what feeling they have about playing against Chen, almost any player is going to say it feels bad to play against Chen. The same with Ench. You play this almost any role, any hero. Very few heroes have the ability to fight this creep back. They take a creep, you meet that creep somewhere, you have only one option usually, and that's just to run. Yeah. You make sure run away. He takes over this part. Fighting it back is very difficult, but you have to stay calm about it, level-headed about it. But most people just choose to ban it, and the ones that pick it and use it well, like Secret, and we've started to using it better and better, it's so powerful. So I think they get this play for a fair reason. They're just strong.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks so much again for all your answers to the questions. It was great interviewing you. Best of luck going into your next lands and everything like that. Again, if you're looking for more interviews, live stats, and analysis, you can check out theScore and our app, where you can find all that stuff in the palm of your hand. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch from all our videos from the Summit 3. I was going to say 4 for some reason, but it's day 4. We'll be here for the rest of the Summit doing more videos, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks a lot for watching.